All right, everyone. Welcome back to Let Your Words Count.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, G. Start us off,
Good
brother.
to be back. Episode 51 today.
5-1.
5-1. Big. All right. First time past this halfway mark to 100, man. So let's get it going.
Feels good.
Absolutely. How's everybody doing today?
Doing good?
Good. We have we only guest one time, but our frequent co-host with us today, Mike Wilson, with James Cole, here with Ethan and Gary.
So, yeah.
Today's word, you all. First, how's everybody doing? Everybody said they're good. Nothing new.
Life is great, brother.
Life's good. Yeah.
Life is great.
Nothing good.
Onward and upward.
I said nothing good.
Nothing
Everything. Everything. Nothing much.
Good stuff. All right, we're going to jump into it today. Today's word is a powerful word. It's a word that's packed with a lot of meaning. Today's word is hope.
Hope.
Okay, hope.
Okay, I like hope.
All right. So we're going to start with our definition for hope. The definition we have is the expectation or desire for a certain outcome combined with trust that it can come to be, even when circumstances are uncertain. Again, hope is the expectation or desire for a certain outcome combined with trust that it can come to be, even when circumstances are uncertain. All right.
Interesting.
Next, for our etymology or derivation, do you want to take
Yeah,
this one?
I
All
would
right.
love to. Here is the etymology for the word hope. Hope comes from the Old English hopa. By the way, I'm an expert in Old English. I don't know. Old English hopa, meaning confidence in the future. It's related to the Proto-Germanic hopon. I'm also an expert in Proto-Germanic.
Very fluid.
Very fluid in both.
Yeah. It just happened to, just something to throw out there. Fun fact. It means to trust and to expect. Hope originally implied trustful waiting rather than mere wishing, which I think is an important distinction.
Very much so.
Yep.
Very much so. And then we jump to the emotional lens.
Uh-oh. I thought I put it in. Well, we lost that one. Hold on, give me a second.
No problem, bro.
Thought I had,
Anybody got a joke?
It must have been copy over.
All right.
That's all right. We can either come up with our own or we can just move into the
No.
conversation.
It's really,
Oh, it's really important.
yeah. I could read it real quick. So,
You have it on? Okay.
yeah, I got it
go
right
ahead.
here.
Yeah,
So the
swing this
emotional lens is so the feeling, the positive, the negative. Positive is faith, optimism, courage, endurance. That's the positive side. So faith, optimism, courage, and endurance. And the negative side is disappointment, denial, or false comfort when misplaced. Okay?
Could you
Why?
read the last one again?
Okay, so it's disappointment, denial, or false comfort when misplaced.
Okay. That last one is interesting.
All right. And so the why or the purpose is the hope gives us the strength to endure pain and uncertainty. But if detached from reality, it can turn into illusion or avoidance. That's the reason why I said this one is important
Yeah.
to read that.
Understood.
Emotional lens.
Understood.
Yeah.
We don't have to pull it back up, but if you have it there in front of you, would you mind reading the definition one more time?
Yeah, for sure. So the definition is hope is the expectation or desire for a certain outcome combined with trust that it can come to be, even when circumstances are uncertain.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. What's on your mind, yo?
My initial thought, which is the reason why I asked you if you would repeat the definition, is that to me, and I'd love to get you guys' thoughts on this, obviously. To me, hope doesn't necessarily have to contain a level of certainty in terms of the outcome. So, for instance, I can have hope that things will turn out fine rather than without necessarily having hope of a specific outcome. You know what I mean? And so I think that the definition it was striking to me because it specifically talked about a certain certainty in an outcome. And I don't know if I happen to see it that way. Obviously, you know, if there is an expected outcome, that would include hope. But I think hope can be much broader than that.
So we can maybe temper that a little bit, because my definition is slightly different. It says when the evidence may not yet support it. So not so much about a specific thing, but like the thing that you're hoping in, the situation that you're in presently, hoping for this future state, the situation presently may look like it's not going to happen. So maybe not the specifics so much, but this is kind of you know, and this is kind of laden with saying it's like something that kind of is needed to be like in a dark or uncertain place. You know what I mean? Again, less about the specifics of the outcome, just that present circumstances seem to be opposed to that outcome being likely.
Right. To a positive or hopeful outcome. Right. Which I agree with.
Right.
But like, so then I don't know. So what are your thoughts on the certainty in the definition that we got originally? Like, are we able to separate or include a more abstract version of hope?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't know how much we have to look at this, because I mean, your question was about the specific outcome, right?
Mm-hmm. Am I just getting into semantics?
It's worth talking about. It's worth talking about, but I don't know.
Well, if I can jump in just for a minute, if I understand, Mike, what you're talking about, I was thinking sometimes we use the term and we just use it so generally that there's no real expectation.
Okay.
So, for example, you may tell someone, I hope things work out for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah.
So that's in the future. I hope things work out for you.
Mm-hmm.
But then you may see them the following week and you say, hey, how you doing? I hope things worked out for you.
Mm-hmm.
So in both instances, you don't really know what the hopeful thing was.
Right.
So in the situation I'm describing, you're probably just talking about well wishes,
right,
if you will.
Yeah.
And you're using the term I hope.
Mm-hmm.
So then in your mind, you're just desiring that nothing happens as they do whatever it is they're going to be doing.
Right.
And that's why I said you can use it in the future tense, because usually that's what we're talking about, something that has not yet happened.
Yeah.
But we've used that term for something that has already happened. If you play the lottery, for example, you know the numbers have been called out. So the certainty is already there, but you don't know it yet.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So if you bought your ticket and then you're going to now look at your ticket and then look at the numbers and hope that your numbers match what's already been determined. So that's what I don't know if that's what you're talking about as far as not really specific, but you're just an expectation that something positive comes forward.
So yeah, in a sense, yes, that's what I mean. I'm thinking more along the lines of like your first example, like life events, life circumstances. So for instance, if I graduate college with a degree in engineering, I can either hope for a job at GM, or I can hope for a successful career in engineering. See what I'm saying? One of those is a very specific and certain outcome, and the other one is a little more broad, and yet they both will be considered hope. One is less defined, and that's kind of what I'm getting at. So like, I think that defining it with certainty is obviously hope, but like I said, it was just very striking that the definition would specifically dial into that, as opposed to, you know, allowing for, you know, hope that is a little more broad or maybe less defined. That's what I'm thinking. That's kind of the way that I'm thinking about it.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with that. That makes sense. Yep.
See, now you guys got me thinking a little bit. You know what I mean? Like of that. Anybody else have thought?
Oh, I thought you were about to continue.
No.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Share with us, bro.
No.
I thought you about to dig in.
Not
Well,
yet.
that certainty, or because I know one of the terms that was used was uncertainty as well. Oftentimes, when we define things, we have something specific in mind already, and I think that's to your point that we could use this term without being specific in what the outcome is.
Right.
You know, we want a positive outcome. But the difference between hoping for a positive outcome versus hoping for something specific, that brings in the specifics, bring in something more.
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the more specific the thing is, then I believe the more input you as the person that desires that have to put
Yes.
in order for it to come to reality.
100%. Yes.
And that's why some people say you create your own luck.
Yes.
Okay. You know, I hope it will, put in the work, and then the expectation is, or the certainty is, it's going to come to pass.
Yes.
Because for as much as you can control it, you've done what you needed to do.
Right.
As opposed to others who want the same outcome, but they don't really put in the work. They aren't as invested in it, but they still want the same outcome that you have, who have put in the work.
Yes, agree, and that's where the delusion comes from the what is that? The
Emotional lens.
Yeah. Because hope without a plan or without work is dead. It literally leans toward delusion. Because I can hope for something all day long. I can hope to win the lottery, but if I never go and buy a ticket, then what am I hoping for?
So I got a question. So is there a way, have we, from what you were saying, James, you were saying that in some ways that we've kind of used it in a blanket sense when we probably, in our culture, in our society, we kind of use hope as we've kind of ruined the word in some type of way. Right. So we kind of reduce the impact of the word by saying, well, I hope you have a good day, or I hope everything is fine. You actually reduce the power of the word by, by not exhausting. Overusing and not contaminating, but there's another word I wanted, saturated. So that word, that hope word is kind of saturated in our society. So when the true meaning and definition is utilized, it's been softened in some way, or reduced. So is there a way that we can strengthen the opportunities of using this word so we can really hit the nail on the head when it comes to our goals, when it comes to a passion? You understand what I'm saying? Like really dive into, I'm going to choose to use this word when it truly means something, instead of just saying, hey, hi, I hope you're having a good day. You know what I'm saying? That just to me, it doesn't, now that you brought that up, it doesn't really have much value and meaning. Does that make sense, fellas?
Okay, allow me to play devil's advocate, if you will, please. I see your point. My question is, even when we use it in common phrases, like you said, like I hope you have a great day, I hope you everything goes well for you, things like that. Is it any less hopeful? I mean, because we're using it in something that is a common phrase or turn of phrase, like, and if it is less hopeful, or if it's not something that we would necessarily define as hope, what would you use in its stead?
I mean, that was really my question. That was kind of my thought process. Is like, I was thinking, so if we're in society, if this word has been kind of like saturated, so to speak, and when you hear that word, it doesn't have as much of an impact, especially when people start talking about scriptures and different things like that. Hope that is seen as not hope. You know what I mean? Those scriptures are really direct for and sometimes they're not as direct and clear as possible. But when you use that word, is it really hitting the nail on the head? Like have we diluted it?
So,
So
are
yeah,
you?
go ahead.
It sounds like you're asking: are we just saying it frivolously?
Absolutely.
Like, are we just
100%.
Are we saying it the same way we say "How you doing today" and we really don't
100%.
care? I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
100%. Yeah, because I think that's one of the reasons why we want to do this show is like make our words count. Like if we're going to use a powerful word like hope, don't just minimize it with just, I hope you have a good day. You know what I'm saying? Like hope is a driver that gets to the next. There's something
That's a
that
good word,
there-
driver.
There's something that feeds hope. And me and G was talking about this earlier, and then there's something that faith is fed by, and that's hope, right? So what is the drivers of, did we say that right? What's the thing that feeds into hope? And we were talking about promises, goals. There's a lot of things that causes hope to come alive. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's the reason why I'm saying, like, are we really utilize? Okay, look, check this out. If you go to the etymology once again, it says hope originally implied trustful waiting. So there has to be something beneficial to have trustful waiting, or else what's the use to even be? Like hope is a powerful word. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So so
100%.
I'm gonna say this. I'm being facetious. Like trustful waiting that you're having a good day. You know what I'm saying? Like you mean tell me you're gonna apply that word and minimize it? Okay, I'm not. Okay, let me take a step back.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Digress.
Yeah, because
I digress.
as long as you're somebody who is letting your words count,
Yeah.
to say that I hope that things are going well for you, or I hope that you have a great day, or I hope that blah blah blah, whatever. If you're somebody that is not using those words frivolously, it still carries weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wrote something down here, and I wrote down hope is the period between expectation and fulfillment. Okay. Hope, like I said, this just came to my mind, is a period between expectation and fulfillment. So based on what you just said, fulfillment now has to be defined. So when you talked about trustful waiting, you're waiting for something specific.
Yes.
Okay. So then in order for the thing for you to know that thing has been fulfilled, you have to have an idea of what you're looking for. Okay. So
100%.
when
Gotcha.
you know what you're looking for, you know that you don't have it yet. Okay. I mean, that's simple, right? You don't have it. So then what that's bringing in is, like we've already used the word expectation, anticipation. But then now here's the thing. The period between you expecting something and then knowing that you've achieved it, what role do you play in during the period of between expecting
into reality
and bringing it into reality? Okay. For some of us, our desire for that thing that we want is all that's needed. And that's why we might bring the word faith in, okay, or believe. If I believe hard enough, I'm going to get it, okay? I know what I want. I know what I want, and I want that. Sometimes, you hear people driving down the street and say, I saw the house, and the Lord told me that's your house, okay? So then now you have something specific in mind, that house.
Yeah.
That's going to be my house. You have no doubt that that's going to be your house. But now, what are you in the time between now, your expectation, and when you see yourself moving into the house? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Is it something for you to do, or are you trusting in something beyond your control to happen for you? And your part is nothing more than just holding on to the dream, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because see, for many people with the word hope, that's their input. Holding on to the dream.
Right.
There's nothing for me to do but just not to waver.
Nice.
Okay? Whereas some might say, okay, now you hope for it. You know exactly what you want. Now what will it take to get there? Okay.
You said some might say. Would you be included in that some?
Well, I'll just use no.
You wouldn't.
No.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. What I mean by that, because especially when it's something that, like the example I just used, that's a house. So then someone that doesn't believe, doesn't use what we will call faith, trust in God, they will go to work, so to speak. Okay, I'm going to start looking at my credit rating. Is my credit rating good enough? You know, am I putting enough money away for the down payment? Do I need to make some changes so that I have more of a down payment? Because I know the banks are going to go and look to see what my, you know, my level of income and my savings have been over a period of time. You know, so then now I have a hope that that house is mine, but I understand that there's something I need to do to get there. Okay?
Because faith without works is dead.
Right.
Right.
Right. So then in doing that, and so then now I have an expectation that this is going to happen because I've done the work.
Right.
Okay. But some of us might say, well, then if you're doing the work, then you're not letting God do it for you.
Some of us might say.
Oh, I keep using that term, don't I?
Yeah, yeah, you're gonna have to take a stand here because I'll get ready to chase it. Okay, so would you be included in that sum? The some of us that may say, if you're doing the work, then you're taking it away from God's.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I would not.
Okay.
I would not. But I do know that many believe that way.
Yes.
And it's almost an affront to God, if you will, for you to do it. Because when we look at many scriptures, you know, especially when you go into the Old Testament where it shows things happen where God wanted to make sure that Israel couldn't claim that they did anything so that God got all the glory, right? Well, then with that mindset, we can take this to say all God wants for me to do is just to hope for it and never let go of that hope and then watch him work.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no accountability.
So just to be clear, your stance is truly that faith without works doesn't lead to anything. Is that accurate? Is that fair? So
Yes.
so in other words, if I drive down the street and I see this this home, and I feel like I've received some sort of download from God or some word that says that this is my home, and I just simply hold on to that dream and I tell everybody about it, and I just every day I just drive past it, and then I just go to work and come home without any input to do things like review my credit, see how much I have in savings, maybe give a call to a mortgage expert. If that's the full extent of my work, so to speak, should I really expect that? Should I really expect to move into that home if I don't take any steps towards it?
Well, see, that's the difference with the odds, if you will.
Okay.
Okay. Our works, if you will, can increase the, I don't know if I want to use the word odds, but I know I've already said it, the likelihood
Okay.
that the thing will take place.
Okay.
As opposed to not doing anything and still having an expectation that the thing will come to pass.
Yeah, but the odds are zero, right? If you don't move, that's if I hope and pray, if I hope that God will grant me a long life, a long healthy life, and my long life is lived on the couch, and I haven't done anything.
Eating pizza and bonbons
Exactly.
and Cheetos.
Exactly. If I'm a couch potato my entire life, then how is that how do you reconcile the quote unquote hope of long, healthy life and the practice of, or the lack thereof, in fact, the lack of practice to make that happen or to put the work in, so to speak?
And that's exactly my point.
Right. Well, that's exactly. So I'm trying to just draw it out.
Right. Because my experience has been, and I've probably been on that side as well from time to time, my experience has been we put so much confidence in our desire. We see ourselves achieving something that desire is all that's necessary for it to come to pass.
Right.
And some people actually believe that to be, they actually operate that way.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
But they hope.
Yes. They hope against hope. Literally.
So going back to my thought again, like, so is it a handicap? Are we, by misusing the word, are we creating our own conundrum in some type of way? Yeah, go ahead.
I think I would say that it's not necessarily just misusing the word, but misunderstanding the concept.
Thank you for clarifying it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant. It's not just the word alone, but it's actually the application of it.
Yeah,
It's
right.
actually truly defining the word and applying it, not just remembering it. Because right now, I think I'm gonna use the Bloom's taxonomy type of triangle, right? So you have a lower level of thinking to a higher level of thinking, right? Hope is still in the bottom, is almost like in the bottom hierarchy, so to speak, from a lower level part of thinking, because you have remember, you have like repeating, you have understanding, you have,
I think you're going to have to give us a better definition of the taxonomy.
So okay. So if you look at the Bloom's taxonomy, what it is, it's kind of like a psychological way of developing a lower level of thinking to a higher level of thinking, right? So the bottom, the lowest level of thinking is repeating everybody,
Okay.
remembering, repeating, and then the highest one is absolutely creating something. You're able to evaluate it, you examine it, you can repeat it, you can recite it, you understand it, you apply it, and then from that part you can create.
Okay.
You see.
Okay.
So and I wish I had an emblem.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's called Bloom's taxonomy. It's something that it kind of helped me along the way with my structure of thinking and evaluating things, because man, I didn't realize how much I was just repeating. Like you say, rinse, watch, rinse, cycle, and repeat. Many people are like in that mode, that lower level of thinking, because a lot of times people just want things done for them. And so if you stay in this mode of hope all the time and you misuse and misunderstand hope, you're not going to actually act it out. You see what I'm saying? So, that's kind of where my mind is at, right? So, okay. Anyone else? Gee, you kind of
You've
quiet.
been quiet. Yeah, you got a page full of notes and ain't said a word.
No, I'm listening to you all because I'm trying to make some decisions about what I think about it as well.
Yeah, it's a hard one to me.
Let's talk through it.
Yeah.
My job pushed out of me the concept of using the word hope for something that you can control.
Yeah, me too.
Right? There's from saying, okay, this idea is powered by hopium, kind of thing, and then if there's meetings that seriously we would grill people, like, if you are responsible for something and this is your work, your job to do, you better not say we hope this is going to work.
Yes.
Because you will get read the riot act. So going through that, if there's something that you have your hands on or you have to do, it's my job kind of worked out of me the usage of the word hope for things you have to do. But at the same time, as I'm listening to what you guys are saying as well, I very much think hope still requires some action. Like I want to say, like, hope is only for use when it's something that you don't have any control over, that you're trusting some other source or somebody else's word that something is going to happen for you. And I want to say, like, without your interaction or without any kind of anything being done on your part, but I'm not sure if I can really settle on that. And that's why I'm kind of just over here contemplating and trying to figure out where do I think this lands.
Well, I don't think hope and control are mutually exclusive.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I don't think you were insinuating that at all. As you were talking, one of the old gospel songs came to my mind where some of the words say, if you make one step, he'll take two. He'll make two. Meaning you being invested in it.
Right.
Meaning you taking control of the things that you can take control of.
Right. That's the key, I think. Yes. Yep.
And so, to me, that's why I went back to talking about the period between. Because hope, in this case, means you just haven't attained yet the thing that you have confidence that you will attain.
Right.
So the only reason we're calling it hope and not attainment
Right.
is because you're not there yet.
Right.
But you're taking the steps necessary so that when you get there, you're not surprised.
Right.
You're
Right.
appreciative of it, but you're not surprised.
Right. Right.
As opposed to others who want it so bad without putting anything into it, and then when it happens, they're happy and kind of almost surprised at the same
Right.
time.
Right.
You know.
Yep.
That's not what we're talking about here.
Right.
At least hopefully.
And that's what I think is a very important distinction, is to your point, right? Recognizing if you have hope in something, recognizing what part can I play? Is there anything I can do, anything I'm supposed to be doing to lead myself or to help get to this outcome that I want? Because my mind was going to Abraham, right?
Yes.
Abraham was given a promise of a son, and after some time went by and he didn't have that son, he went into his wife's handmaid and tried to, thinking that he was doing something to help the process along, and kind of stepped outside of the path that was intended for him. So yes, hope does sometimes involve some action, but we have to be careful to make sure we understand what action can I take that is moving in the right direction of this goal. What are the things that I can control? Is there some expectation that I do something, or like we were saying earlier, is it just you wait here because I don't want you, again, the kind of mindset of, so you don't rob God's glory. I think, and this is where I think I'm kind of pausing on this, is because I have a very different mindset in the things that we're supposed to be doing as far as like some of these hopes. I think we're supposed to be actively involved and trying to find out where there is work for us to do and doing that. And then to the definition that you read earlier, that's what I think faith is. I'm not the kind of person that looks at faith as just belief. I think faith is action. Faith is action because of a belief. And then as in the definition, is the substance of hope, right? So I think that it's just, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around where the right parts of the definition are supposed to fall, because I think that we're supposed to be recognizing when we have something to do and doing that, right?
So I think about, you mentioned Abraham. I think Abraham is a good example. He was, given a promise, according to Scripture. Abraham let somebody else talk him into making that move.
Yep.
That wasn't a decision that Abraham made.
He went along with it, though. It wasn't his original thought.
Right. Well, that's what I mean.
He was allowed to be convinced. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think if you hold to whatever your hope is, and you keep doing what you're supposed to be doing, exercising things that are under your control or within your influence, then the thing that you hope for is, like you said, much more likely to come about. If you allow outside influences to derail the path that you're on, even if it seems like something that, somebody's maybe trying to encourage you to, hey, well, God ain't coming along fast enough, so maybe you just take my handmaid and that type of thing. Those are the moments, and maybe we can all think back and find them in our own lives. Those are the moments where those mistakes tend to happen, or where the thing that we hope for tends to, get pushed off down the line, or maybe even removed altogether. And then I'm also thinking about, just because, I'm always going to try to throw a book reference in. There's a book called The Big Leap, which is an incredibly impactful book in my life. It's by an author named Gay Hendricks. His way of describing it is, he describes the circle of influence. It's about recognizing the things that are within my reach and within my control. If it's something that I can influence directly to get towards any particular goal, or something that I hope for, that I have faith towards, then I should put my hands towards that thing.
Interesting.
But just as important as recognizing what is within that circle of influence is recognizing what things are without that circle of influence. So, for instance, if I'm a farmer, I do my due diligence. I do my watering. I do my fertilizing. I do my weeding. I do this and that and planting and blah, blah, blah. I still have to hope for good weather. I still have to hope that deer and rabbits and blah, blah, blah don't come and, tear up all my crops and things. And so I'm recognizing the things that are within my circle of influence, which are the parts that I put my hand to. And then I still have that trust that is outside of my control for things like weather and climate and things like that. And when those two things work symbiotically, then the likelihood turns into a certainty. You know what I'm saying?
And I think that's where the other dilemma is in my mind, because to your point about the saturation, Ethan, saturated use of the word hope. And I kind of think that's one of the places where we get off on the definition a little bit, is that I think to me, hope, as we were talking about, like what feeds into hope, I think hope is only properly used when you're talking about some kind of commitment or promise or something like that that's been given. Like you're to me, I look at hope as hanging on more and not just being wishful thinking. It's hanging on a promise or some kind of relationship that requires trust in something else being done, as far as how I look at it, right? So I'm kind of struggling with how frequently we use it for a random thing, like your example of like winning a lottery ticket. Nobody told you were going to win. Mm-hmm. You just you desire that thing, so we start using the word hope because we use hope and desire and want interchangeably. But I think that the real definition of hope is apart from want, desire, optimism, because I think hope is reliant on there's a trust element there. And a trust element requires that I'm expecting something that's been told to me is coming to me or was going to be given to me or whatever. It requires this precursor of some kind of commitment being had or an agreement or something like that between two parties, right?
I got to go back to your example of Abraham.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And not trying to turn this into a Bible class or anything.
Right.
But I think I'm going to try to say it in terms of what we're talking about now. Mm-hmm. To your point, yes, it wasn't Abram's desire.
Right.
God put it in front of him.
Right.
Made the promise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then the point I'm getting at is when you know the thing that you hope for came into being or came into reality, that takes knowing the end. Okay. But the initial understanding was the end would be a child. But from God's standpoint, the end wasn't just a child, or more specifically, it wasn't just any child. But Abram, at the beginning, his understanding was any child, essentially. Because before Hagar, he talked about, I believe his name was Eleazar. Because essentially what he was saying is this: I can't, Sarah's too old. So therefore, our natural human customs are, this guy here, Eleazar, head of my household, my slave, if he has a child, I can claim that child. Now it's my child. God, your promise has been fulfilled. So a child was there. In his mind, it's the child. But knowing the God who was the promiser, it wasn't about the child only. It was about how the child comes to be. And see, and Abram didn't know that up front. But then again, God didn't reveal that up front either.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So when God let him know, no, it's going to come out of your own loins, then that's where, and obviously he told Sarah, and then she brought her handmaid Hagar, and that's why. So then now, God, I'm doing what you said, coming out of my own loins, but Sarah can't. We all understand she can't. Okay? But faith, the whole time, his understanding was a child is a child is a child.
Right.
But God was way more specific.
Right.
What God was really doing was trying to get Abram and Sarah to understand God through the promise of the child. So it wasn't just the child, any old child. It was how the child can come to be. Because how the child came to be, the end result was, now I see God in a different way. And the different way that God was looking for was for Abram and Sarah to let go of their human limitation and say, God, because you said it, this child is based, and that's why the scripture talks about the child of promise being Ishmael. I'm sorry, not Isaac and not Ishmael.
Right.
Okay? So to me, there's an element, my understanding is there's an element of what does fulfillment look like? So in this case here, fulfillment was not just a child, any child, but it was a child that came to be because now I see God in a way that I didn't see him before.
Interesting.
And because now I see him in a different way, now I know that the promise has been fulfilled. So the hope, where he was, 75 years old, and they said 100 years old. Through that time, that was the period of expectation, but there was a period of learning as well, bumping his head, so to speak, but God blessed him the whole time because he believed God the whole time, but he didn't know the promiser the way the promiser wanted him to know him.
Right.
And it wasn't until he went over these various tests and trials did his eyes come open and his wife's eyes came open, and then they finally came to the point of saying, well, God, if you said it, I believe it. Where in the beginning it was, I believe I can have a child, but not by these means.
Absolutely right. And that brings us to the other part of the definition. So in addition to, like you said, something being promised and then understanding the right means by which that promise is going to be executed, another thing I found in the definition, that hope is an active choice to move forward despite adversity and uncertainty.
Very good.
So it's the aspect of something's been promised to me for hope, specifically for hope, because I'm saying I think that I attach more weight to the word hope than just wishful thinking or expectation. It's a promise has been made. The situation, the circumstances look unlikely for that promise to come about. But I'm trusting in the person that made that promise that it's going to happen in spite of everything else around it looking like it's not likely. So to me, hope is, if you don't have those elements, what you're talking about is something different than the word hope.
Okay.
So if we're talking about that word, that's where I think that there's these precursors that are necessary for hope to be the right word to be applied in that situation, if that makes sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So you're
one-
separating hope from wish.
Yes. Yes.
Right. One thing that, because once again, the way I think, I'm a process guy, and the visual, my foundation is visual. It helps me understand things. So you said expectation and fulfillment, right? And there's this place, this dark area between expectation and fulfillment. But the expectation comes because there was something given, right? And that's what you're saying, right?
A promise or some
promise,
kind of commitment.
a
right.
promise or a commitment or something that starts the ball rolling. So with hope, with hope, to me, I look at, and you know me, I've been doing this study about like darkness lately, right? I think hope is a dark area. You talking about dark ages? Those can be dark ages in one's life when you have hope that's not fulfilled yet. So when you have this expectation, and like you said, it doesn't matter what comes your way, you're still going to hold on with that belief in that expectation. There's something that's been handed to you in that driver, that mechanism that's causing you to reach the fulfillment. But there's a gap. There's a huge gap here. There's a dark area that is questioning. You don't know. I'm going to create an Ishmael in this process. You know what I'm saying? There's so many other things that's going on. I think it's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal way to examine not only Abraham, but our own lives and how we utilize this word hope in this action, hope. Like I'm starting to think like right now, like, whoa, I can do this a little bit better by using this word. You know what I'm saying? Like not shunning, like, I hope you have a nice day. We keep bringing that up, but really understand from a impactful, purposeful, meaningful sense that we can utilize this word. Because if faith comes after having hope, then I believe that I think I need to use this hope properly so faith can be absolutely clear and certain. That can be the driver to fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Because if the scripture if the scripture says faith is the substance of things hope for and the evidence of things not seen, then I believe I need to understand what this hope is in order to get to the faith mechanism, you know. So that's kind of where my mind is at. Right?
Yeah,
It's
one
just-
of the definitions that you read off was confidence in the future. And that confidence in the future can help you get through what you just termed as the dark period or the dark times.
Yeah.
Okay? And, you know, we know Scripture casts not away therefore your confidence, which has what great recompense and reward, because you have need of what? Patience.
Patience.
Because the thing that you hope for. So now we're throwing patience in there as well. That patience goes in the period between expectation and fulfillment. So then,
Very good.
how are you going to wait? Are you going to wait patiently, or are you going to wait with frustration? You know, how many times are we, you know, I didn't go to my neighborhood high school. I went to Cass Tech, go technicians, right?
You had to throw that out.
He threw that in there.
And so in order to get there, I had to catch the bus, right? And so, you know how buses went, you know.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, you know, you wait. Yep, wait. And so, you know, how are you waiting? Are you waiting patiently? You know, are you waiting with frustration? You know, are you waiting with angst in that if it's been so long, then you know that there's a good chance that when the bus does come, it's so full because it's been so late and so many people upstream, so to speak, have gotten on the bus. And so then now the bus finally came and you can't get on it because it's full. That's happened as well, right? So then, but you're still waiting. So then take the period between the expectation and the fulfillment. So then how do you spend that time? And that's where what you can do, you do. And the things that are out of your control, you're still in control with your mind and how you control your mind and your thoughts as you're waiting.
Yes.
So even the things that are seemingly out of your control, you have control of yourself while you're waiting for those things to come to pass.
Yes. And that actually, I'm glad that you talked about the dark space, and then you talked about the waiting that is necessary during that time, even while you're, you know, putting your hands to the plow, so to speak. The frustration that can come along with that waiting process, if you're not in control of your mind, your emotions, things like that, can turn into despair. And so my thought is, or my question is despair, and this is based on the way that I currently view it, so I'm interested to get you guys' thoughts. Is despair the antithesis to hope? You know what I mean? Like
Interesting.
reaching despair, reaching the point of desperation, does that mean that hope is gone?
That's how I define it. I think it's the absence of hope.
We have our own.
Interesting.
Yeah, maybe an individual has determined a time frame by which this thing is going to take place. And if it hasn't happened, then it's not going to happen. Cast not away your confidence because you have need of patience. When you set your own standards as to how and when the thing is going to come to pass, you know, you've possibly or probably just set a standard that you guaranteed that it was out of your hands. So, okay, let me slow down.
Break it down, Pastor. He rubbed his hands together. He get ready to go in.
Okay, you know, I think it's Scripture says on my point, I'm going to wait. You know, on my appointed time, my change is going to come. Okay. We want to rush the process just like children want to grow up, right? And there's a process, there's a period of time, they don't know what they don't know, right? But yet because they have the ability to do something that someone who's already there, they're doing, they think, why should I wait? I want to do it now.
Okay.
And then, of course, now we have problems. So if the child says, because I have the ability to go out and get my own apartment and then start working and supporting myself, okay? Things that we would want them to do, but we as parents don't want them to do it too soon.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Because we know things that they don't know. Okay? But if you don't know what you don't know, your desire, your drive, your, in this case, lack of patience, drives you to say, I'm going to get it now. And so either you don't get it, or you get it and you wish you didn't get it, because the way you got it, it's not going to work out. Okay? So I think that's what I mean when I say we have to be careful that even the things that are out of our own control, and this is where we would say, trust God. But it's not a blind trust God as some people, because to me, sometimes when people say trust God, what they're basically saying is, I invest nothing, God's going to do everything.
Right, right,
Interesting.
That's not what I'm talking about.
right.
But at the same time, because if you know that if we put God in this, if God is in it, then we have to understand that there, just as a parent with a child, God may know that there are things either we don't know, we have to develop, or things that have to move that he hasn't worked on yet. And so we have to wait on that before the next step takes place. Because there are certain things that happen outside of our area of control, like we've talked about before. But that shouldn't cause us to let go of the desire or the expectation of fulfillment, because when we know it's going to happen, it's going to happen. When a promise has been made, when we know who made the promise, then we also have confidence in the one that made the promise. And that's why it's important to know who made the promise in this case.
Good, man.
So I agree with you. But in my yeah, I was like, but in my mind, despair brings about doubts about who even made the promise, or if
Yes.
there was ever a promise at all.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that in my mind, it kills hope. It kills it. You know?
It does, because despair in the face of knowing that a promise has been made, and a promise is another term for assurance. So if you have an assurance that the thing is going to happen, then that's all you really need. Okay? We tend to put timing on it.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And so for some of us, if it doesn't happen in the right time, then I don't want it. Because I expect it. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, better late than never, right? But wasn't the promise fulfilled? Were all the standards, the standard set, was the standard achieved in the fulfillment? Was the house built to specs? You thought it was going to take, 2 years to build a house. For unforeseen situations, COVID hit, and then lack of lumber. I remember that thing when the lumber prices,
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden now it took 7 years for 2 years. But when you got to the 7-year point, the house is just as beautiful as it would have been 5 years earlier. Are you now sad because it took 5 years longer, but you're in the house?
So let's put it in a perspective where let's make a parable out of it. So if there's a person that has done what they thought was right throughout most of their life, gone to school, did whatever parents instructed them to do, things like that, and yet let's say 10, 15, 20, 30 years after school, after walking on this path all of this time that's been laid out, according to some promise or assurance, if the result is still struggle, then how does hope either become regenerated once it's lost in that type of scenario, or what would you say to that?
I hope this answers your question.
Yeah, it wasn't very well posed.
Well,
I'm sorry.
but you made me think about my son. He was the youngest of my 2 children, and I remember when he first went to Bowling Green. He eventually ended up going to University of Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Okay.
HBCU. But anyway,
We love that. We love it.
But anyway, when I dropped him off at Bowling Green, it was really the first time he was going to be away from us for an extended period of time. And I remember telling him, Brian, this is your life. And I explained it, okay? But see, I didn't tell my daughter that because they're different individuals, they're different beings, right? I sensed with my son, okay, he was this type of person. He would ask, are we allowed to? Are we allowed to? Are we allowed to? Well, as a parent, on one hand, you love it, right? They're probably not going to get into this, that, or the other. But then when you get to being an adult, then you start to feel like, well, if I do this, then someone else is going to look out for me and take care of me and everything's going to be okay. So I had to get that out of him by saying,
Interesting.
it's your life. Okay? So why am I saying this? If his mindset was, if I do my part by doing good grades, someone's going to look at me and say, hey, I'm going to give you this wonderful job, and now your life is set. I had to tell him, no, it's not going to work that way. You do your part, and someone else there's not going to be someone looking to take
Nobody's
care of
coming
you.
to save you.
Nobody's coming to save you.
Right.
You still have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
So if he held to, I did my part, now I'm waiting for someone else to come and rescue me or do their part, he would have been disappointed.
Man.
And so I'm always, you got to go after it. If you want it, you got to go after it. So I don't know if that's answering the question or not. But
It does answer my question. It puts the onus back on the person that is either hopeful or desperate. It firmly sets it right in their lap, to say if it is to be, it's going to be something that you have to make happen, or at least put effort towards.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, we was just talking about this a little bit earlier before we started the show, and I was thinking about Moses and the children of Israel, as they was leaving Egypt, and Pharaoh was on their tail, and I was thinking about when Moses got to the Red Sea, and here we go, we have Pharaoh and his armies on their tail, and Moses is surrounded by 2 million people.
Water all around him.
It was you talking about, in all seriousness and honesty, Moses was at a dark point.
Yeah.
He was in an absolute dark point.
he feared.
He
feared.
he was feared for his life, and he asked God, what is he? And this is like one of the, I just saw this scripture just a couple years ago, just reading it, when he asked God, for help. He prayed to God, and God responded, why are you asking me?
Use what you got.
Use what you got. What's in your hand? And that's kind of, that goes with that same thing. What we're talking about is the onus comes right back to us. If we're giving the power to perform, do it. Even though the moment seemed bleak, you're in this mode of expectation to fulfillment, but you have the power in your control. Sometimes you didn't even know that you even have it's apparent and it's existent, and you're ignoring it because of fear, because of many things. And we ain't talk about fear yet, but that's my thought with that. As you guys were talking, that's what came up.
I think that's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to add. I just think that's a fantastic point. Use what you have in your hand. Golly, that's heavy.
Well, you actually brought that up. You brought up about farming. You brought that up earlier about farming, that things that's at your reach. And I think a lot of times we have things that are is it disposal, or we have things in our peripheral area, or our circumferences that we don't utilize properly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's very important. I think a lot of times we don't take a step back enough to realize that hope is important. Are you utilizing it properly in the right moments? So this is deep, man. I'm like, in my mind, I don't even know if I even considered hope thorough enough to get to this point, especially when you're talking about there's a promise, there's something that sets the tone for hope. Number one, you know what I'm saying? What is the use of hope? That's because something starts it.
Yeah, that's what you was saying.
Yeah, and that was perfect, man.
Whether it's you desire something, now you hope for it. You realize that something you need, you lack, and so then therefore now you hope for. I mean, that's in the book of the letter to James. When talking about ask of God, if you see that you have lack of something, then know where to go to get what you lack so that it can be fulfilled.
Yeah.
And so then the period, once again, I'm saying between once you recognize that you need something in order to be successful and then actually achieving it, then how do you go about obtaining it?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because then the scripture went
Yes.
into, you know, why are you going to ask if you're double-minded? Don't expect anything if you,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
you want it, but then again, you still don't think you're going to get it even though you want it.
Right,
you know?
right.
And that's where personal responsibility comes in at.
Interesting.
And so this goes to the point I was talking about earlier, and I know you were calling me on it when you asked me which side I was on.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I know that a lot of people, they want, but they don't really see themselves invested in what it takes to achieve what's wanted.
Man.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
And then they
awesome.
would put it all on God by saying, I trust God, He's going to do it all. And all He wants me to do is expect Him to do it for me.
Is that ignorance or is it fear?
I think initially it's ignorance.
Okay.
Initially, because the way we've been taught, I believe initially it's ignorance. We think that God wants us to do nothing but sit back and say, God, you're great and you're going to do everything for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
Right. That's so
Then
true.
after a while, when knowledge comes and you realize there's something that He expects me to do, now fear can come in because
Interesting.
I'm
now I
comfortable.
got to do something.
I'm comfortable.
Yeah. It was comfortable when I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah, yeah.
All I had to do was say, I trust that God can do everything.
Right, right.
But now when I know that that very same God expects me to, you know, what's the term? And I know it, I have to have some skin in the game.
Yes. Skin
know.
in the game. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. God expects me to put some skin in the game.
Right.
You take one step, He'll take two.
Yeah.
I love
And so
that.
then now here comes the fear. Okay, well, I don't know. Either I don't really want it as much or, you know, what's it going to take to get it? If I got to do all that, then maybe it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Fear can come in because I now might fail.
Yeah.
Because now this is where the doubt comes in. What if I do all of this and I still don't get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then what about the promiser? How much confidence do you have in the one that promised? Or how much confidence do you
Man.
have in the
Wow.
goal itself?
Wow.
And we don't even have to be talking about God specifically, you know.
Right.
I want to get into this school, whether it's a college, whether it's a culinary. Got it right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
That's all right.
yeah.
Third time's a charm.
Yeah. What am I going to do to get into it?
Yeah.
Okay. I have to put more effort than just hoping and wanting it to happen.
Right,
so
right,
true.
right.
And taking the effort can be fearful.
Yes.
It can be.
It
then we
usually
can
will be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that's why some people use the term that some fear is good,
Yes.
you know, or some stress is good.
Yes.
In that confines.
And when they use it the right way, it makes sense.
Yeah, because there is no such thing as courage or bravery without fear.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wouldn't be courage, it wouldn't be brave, it wouldn't be faith if it wasn't something that you had some level of fear or concern about the outcome. You know what I mean? That's just the way it works.
But going back to your point about despair, that's where I think despair creeps in. Because I think that people, it's this something that's been on my mind a lot lately is people, I think a lot of times look at what's going on in their present reality. And they base their expectations of the future based on what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't work that way.
Right.
So hope should be giving us a picture to look forward to, but we make the mistake of thinking that picture we're looking forward to is based on today's reality. Today's reality has nothing to do with tomorrow's possibilities,
That is so powerful.
but a lot of times we connect the two.
Yes.
So if we first free ourselves that, okay, today is not dictating what's happening tomorrow. Tomorrow is its own thing, and it's, you know, again, it can be a new start. It can be a break from where I am right now. Having that understanding is, to me, one of the first steps of coming out of fear, out of desperation or despair rather, because I'm not thinking that's what, to me, that mindset of despair is. I don't have any hope for tomorrow. I don't have any hope that things are going to change or going to get better.
Right.
Everything is going to continue and be based off of how bad today is, and that part's not true.
You're talking now.
And I
Man.
think the second part of it is what you mentioned earlier. Again, when I'm talking about hope, I'm talking about something that's purpose-based.
Okay.
So I'm talking about something that's purpose-based. We have to understand that, and this is something that I'm speaking from experience, that 2 years ago when I said I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I had this vision of what that meant, of starting a company and doing this and doing that, and you have, you know, you're an independent entrepreneur overnight based on I know what steps to follow. I'm going to do these steps, not knowing that saying you want to be an entrepreneur is to call in conditions that test you and that say you're not going to be. So I didn't understand that saying you want to be an entrepreneur means I'm calling forth a situation that has, you're broke now. Now what? Are you still an entrepreneur? And it has to be that continual making a decision every day that this purpose I've started on, every single day I have to choose and decide I'm going to push forward because there's a purpose there that I'm going to get to. And I had to learn that saying you want to be an independent entrepreneur is inviting all the situations that's going to look like, no, you're not. So you can make a decision and stand on your purpose. Because that last part of it is you have to make sure you understand it's worth pursuing because you're going to have all these oppositions come in that tell you, no, you're not, no, you're not, no, you're not. And everything that would teach you and tell you that this outcome you're looking for is not possible. That's what I'm inviting when I stand up and say, I am this. You're inviting that darkness. You're inviting those things to come in and say, no, you're not. So you can make your proclamation. You can make your testimony and stand strong on, yes, I am. I endured this. I overcame this. I got through and got past this. And you've proven yourself now. You've stepped into purpose by going through those things that would try to tell you that you can't get there. So that's where I think it's all based on a promise and a purpose. And once you see that purpose there, looking at this definition, optimism believes things will go well. Hope believes it's worth trying even when they don't. And that's the mindset we got to get to, right? And it's those things that for me, at least, kind of help me get out of a despair mindset when I've been there.
I love that, bro. I love that. That is perfectly put. Yeah. We talk about like when you pray for. When I was younger, they used to tell us. They used to tell us not to pray for patience.
Yes.
Don't pray for patience.
Right.
That's what I was told. Because praying for patience
I don't understand that.
brings things. Well, I understand it. I think it's wrong, but I understand it. I think it's
don't
based
make
out of
sense,
fear.
man.
Well, the thing is that if you pray for patience, what has to come in order for you to learn patience?
Testing and trials.
Boom.
Boy, I'm so glad
so-
I came into church the time I came. A little bit older. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you.
Yeah, they
You're
used
inviting
to.
those situations that you're going to not have the thing that you want to teach you patience.
Yes, that was the basis behind the phrase, at least in the context where I was taught, to be careful what you pray for, be careful what you ask for, because if you ask for patience, then you're going to be tested in order to build that patience. It's not just going to be given,
right.
It's not just going to wake up and be an Amazon on your
right.
on your doorstep with patience in it, Right. And I think that's the exact same thing when you seek a path that allows you to be independent, your resilience is going to be tested.
That's
Tested.
so true, man.
Exactly.
Tested.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yes.
you're not only is it coming, it's because you called it out.
Yes, it is.
It ain't just, it's not random,
Yes, it is. That's right.
Because it's purposeful, right?
Yeah, exactly. And most things that we set forth with intention comes with opposition. They say that anything that's worth having is worth fighting for.
That's right.
I mean, and that's just the way it is.
That's
If somebody that wants to go to Bowling Green or I can't remember the name of the other school you mentioned.
UAPB.
Yeah, I was about to say, I knew you was going to repeat it. So anybody that wants to get into UAPB and graduate successfully with honors and things like that are going to be presented with every single thing that can be thought of to not necessarily to prevent it, but to challenge it. You know what I mean? Do you really want this? Is this this is the path that you set yourself on? Are you really going to stick with it? We see that in all aspects of life,
Absolutely.
It's one of the comments here from one line at a time. Misuse, misunderstanding can lead to skewed results versus understanding leading to a more accurate outcome. Yeah.
Misuse or misunderstanding can lead to poor results.
Yeah, poor results, skewed results.
Skewed results.
Yeah, versus understanding leading to a more accurate outcome.
Yeah, that's where I think it gets into you want something, but it's not clearly defined.
Yeah.
So then
Yes.
you're allowing your desire to be the pinnacle, if you will.
Yeah.
And not understanding what it's going to take to get there.
Okay.
And that's what I mean by some people, my desire is all that I need.
Yeah.
It's going to happen because I desire it.
Right. which is misinformed.
Yeah, that's interesting that you said that, because I've never heard that one before, man.
What?
Or at least I just wasn't paying attention.
What?
The patience don't ask for patience.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Am I the only person that's ever heard that?
Oh,
before?
I've heard it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
But
You must have been asleep in church.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
He had his head down in prayer.
Right.
He was too busy praying for patience.
Right. Right. So you know what? Like, I was thinking a little bit more like how powerful this word is. You know, especially G. I think you put it, you broke it down beautifully about your desires of being an entrepreneur, and by that alone, it's going to bring some type of pitfalls and setbacks in some type of way. And you have to prepare. What I would like to do is any of the viewers that are watching, what can we actually prescribe to them in their journeys or whatever they would like to do? You know what I'm saying, when it comes to hope.
I want to say one other thing before we jump over to that.
Fine, man. Go ahead.
I want to be clear that the challenges that come when you set a path for yourself, or when you set a destination, or when you choose hope, they're not there to derail you. They're not there
Absolutely,
to prevent
100%.
you from reaching that target. It's about being tested, not being, dejected. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
It is literally a challenge. It is literally a test. A test is not meant to crush you. A test is meant to test you. And as you take these tests and you pass them, or you fail them, or you learn a lesson, whatever it takes, as long as you're continuing to move forward with that same intention, you'll still reach that goal, or at least, like you mentioned before, I like the way that you put it, the likelihood of reaching that goal increases dramatically. I just want to make that distinction, because a lot of times we can look at those tests and still be afraid to pray for patience. We can know that the tests are coming, and that's why we tell people not to pray for. Other people tell people not to pray for patience.
Right.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
The tests that come to test your patience and to teach you patience are not so that you can't have patience. It's so that you can pass the test and have patience, or that you can pass the test and be successful in your entrepreneurship, or so on.
Right, because the tests prove you.
Yes.
And it's not that you're being proven to God, because He knows what's in you. It's you being proven to yourself.
Exactly.
man.
Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
And then when you see that maybe you lack something, that shouldn't deter you from the goal. Now you know, what do they say about inventors? They didn't fail 100 times. They just figure out which paths don't work.
Not
Yes.
to do it.
Yeah. Yes. That's exactly right.
I love that.
Yes,
Man.
Absolutely.
I love that we've gone this route with this one.
Yeah.
I think this is important.
100%. 100%.
Okay.
I don't really have nothing much to add. I just want the viewers to, if they're listening, really glean off of what we're saying. And if it's anything that you can, muster up from this conversation is whatever. Oh my goodness, I don't even know how to sum it up, man.
Man, you talking about the viewers. I'm downloading this stuff for myself,
yeah,
bro.
Man. So one thing
I'm glad they
do,
tagging along, but this is changing my life, man. The conversations about hope and trust. I was talking to Gary not long ago. The leg of the journey in my life that I'm on right now is all about trust, 100%. And I've made some very, very scary moves and steps over the last, short period of time, in effort to build that trust, in effort to, like you said, prove to myself that I am capable of trusting without succumbing to fear. Because obviously, it takes courage to trust, right? And so overcoming that fear, because it's there, overcoming that fear is the way to get to the next level,
Agreed. 100%.
And so if we're talking about prescribing, that would be my thing, to genuinely trust, even though it's scary, even though it's terrifying, even though it might, you might feel stuck and things like that. trust with action, because it's not just trust, like you said. It's not just a dead thing, but trusting with action, with taking the steps in faith. And I know it sounds cliche, and maybe I'm late to the party, but man, that junk is hitting me like crazy at this point in my life. But taking steps in faith, genuine faith, is life changing. So
I totally agree.
Yeah, that would be my recommendation. I mean, pray for. I don't even know how to really describe it. I don't know, Pastor. Can you help us out?
Help me out. What, you want me to finish your sentence?
Yeah, finish that for me.
I can see, there are things like in the case of Abraham, where God put it out there first. But then there are other things that we initiate ourselves. Okay, and to me, one is just as good as the other. Okay, because even if we initiate ourselves, we're not going to be like, remember on Seinfeld with George Costanza, where he said he wanted to be an architect, and of course he never did anything toward it, but it just sounded good at parties to say, I want to be an architect.
Right.
We need to understand that even if we're going to come up with something, we have a desire, we have a goal, we should understand that it doesn't have to be God had to give me that, I had a dream, I had a vision. It can originate from yourself.
Sure.
Yeah.
But then stay in contact with God.
100%.
And because what will happen is he will walk you along the path. And along that path there will be, as we've said, challenges.
Yes.
But the challenges are good. So whether God has laid it on your heart to do something, or because of the status of your heart you say, this is consistent with my will and I know that I'm in the will of God, do it. Have confidence. And then look to him and be open to correction, be open to sound criticism, but don't let go of the goal.
Perfect. Good. Perfect.
Very well said. Very well said. I love that.
Absolutely.
All right, G, you got any last words?
I think it's just what's been said, man. And just what you said about darkness earlier, too, is like the word light means nothing without darkness as a contrast. So light is proven when you're put in dark spaces and you still shine. So you find a purpose that's worth pursuing and worth holding on to. And remember that when the times come that test you and that try you and want to, push you off of that path, remember what you're fighting for and that it's worth fighting for.
Very good. Right. Very good. Mike, you got something? Are you good?
Nah, man, I'm good. I'm about to cry.
Yeah. All right, everyone. This is Let Your Words Count, episode 51.
In the books,
Isn't
baby.
it beautiful? All right, this is hope. The word hope. God bless you. Signing off.
Love y'all. Peace.